What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hold Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry DeRine. I got both of my co-hosts on the line with me tonight. I got my man, J Bob, on the building. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? Looking forward to this episode. But hopefully, all the mothers out here, happy Mother's Day. Hopefully, y'all enjoy your Mother's Day here. But want to quickly remind you, you can catch us on TikTok as well as subscribe to us on YouTube at Hold Us Podcast. And for those interested in promos or shout outs, you can shoot us a DM on IG at Hold Us Podcast, as well as emails at holdusapodcast@gmail.com. All right, T.
I got my man SD in the building. What's up with you?
Nothing, man. Ready to get this show on the road. But let's give a shout out to Brother Soul Productions for always keeping the background audio fresh. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Hold a Husband podcast on Cash App and PayPal. All right, G.
I want to remind everybody that y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on the core94.com. Tonight's episode is titled Package Deal. And we wanted, since it's Mother's Day, we wanted to have a discussion about dating single mothers. And so we're going to be talking about some of the additional challenges and expectations that come from dating a mom. But y'all know how we do around here, man. We like to start the podcast off by discussing stuff that we've seen trending on our timeline. And so we got this first video, seems like a little sense of entitlement, but a woman was put a video out talking about what she expects from guys to go on a date with them. Let's take a look.
Okay, so this is for the men asking me on dates, specifically on TikTok, and I'm going to try to say this in the most graceful way that I know possible. I appreciate it's very flattering, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to either compliment me, make a serious inquiry about getting to know me or whatnot. But honestly, if I fielded every single one of the requests, and this is not in a braggadocious way, it's getting overwhelming. That would be my full-time job. So, respectfully, if you're serious, like what I expect from a date, honestly, like I expect flowers or roses or something, a little gesture or gift of my liking on a first date. And if you're about that life, I can definitely send you an Amazon link to a wish list. But outside of that, like if you're not serious, you should probably just go on about your day, respectfully.
This is what it's been. I've heard about the new age mindsets and the expectations and all this. But to me, I guess the good morning, beautiful dudes, she specifically targeted those dudes that's in her DMs. So yeah. I can see why she would handle them kind of this way. Like, look, bro, you at the minimum, you gotta bring me a gift for me to even go on a date with you. But to me, if you fall in that category as a man, your self-awareness meter should kick in to where you need to make some major changes and develop yourself, because that's just a shame to be subjected to this type of stuff.
Man, listen. I don't care what these dudes is saying in her DMs. This is asinine. This don't even make no sense, man. But you know what? I like when women come out and say stuff like this, because it lets me know to block them immediately because they stupid. Like, you gonna send me a wish list.
Amazon wish list.
Like, yeah, it ain't even, forget who in her DMs. She said it's a requirement or whatever for her that you give some type of gift. Like, that's her thing. So she'll send you an Amazon wish list. Man, come on, man.
I don't think this would apply to somebody like you, SD.
No, I don't think it would be.
You're not in the TikTok good morning category, man.
But this is. She never even mentioned what they were saying.
She mentioned who it is. Unless it's a blue chick or a celebrity, most chicks is gonna kind of treat the dudes in their DMs as fans, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but listen, this is all I'm saying. When you put stuff out there like this, the guys who don't have to bring a gift, because we all know that all women have rules for men they don't like, and rules for men that they do like. So the guys that don't have to bring a gift, guess what? I'm not even gonna be bothered with you because you put this out there like that. I'm not gonna say, well, let me try anyway so I can see if she don't want a gift from me. No, I'm not even gonna waste my time with a chick that think like that, because for her, in my mind, it's all about what she can extract. It's not about the experience, it's about what she can get. That's why she gonna send you a wish list, things that she wants that are material things. Now, if you get her that, then that means that you're serious, because not knowing that's how whole phase men smash the chicks that they do. The guys that have money, because they willing to get you some flowers or a watch off your wish list or some on cloud shoes or whatever it is that you want. They willing to do that. Yeah. Especially when all they want is sex. And those are the only men that typically do those things, that only want sex, or men that can't get other women. Guys that can get other women, man, he gonna tell you, man, if you don't get away from me, and you gonna keep this same cycle up, because you're not gonna like the dudes that can't get other women, and then the guys that's whole phase men, you're gonna get tired of them really, really quick. So this here is nonsense, man. Jay, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she's looking for a transactional relationship here, not like an actual relationship that's built in anything. I ain't gonna hold you. She cute, right? I'm not gonna lie. Act like I'm not even gonna say
that's a prerequisite, right? You can't be ugly having these kind of expectations.
No, but we see this stuff on TikTok all the time where these chicks, the ugly. I remember the one we covered a while back, maybe a couple of years ago. She was, let's just say, she was a little big, for lack of better description here, and she was saying how men have to do all this and Uber her home and back and everything, and she wasn't cute at all. At least this one's cute.
Well, I mean, ugly. What she described though is the overwhelming amount of digital messages that kind of describes what attractive women report on the dating apps, the Plenty of Fishes, on all those type of apps, where it don't take nothing for a dude to say, hey, how you doing? Can I take you out to dinner? Can I do this and that? And so I can see how women get overwhelmed with the number of messages. And like we talk about all the time, when you have options, especially several options, it's hard to filter through them. And sometimes you come up with a silly system or method of filtering through the ones that are, quality leads, I guess, hot leads, however you want to describe it. But that to me, this just equates to jumping in DMs is not nearly as successful as it once may have been.
Well, I would say for her, I don't know how many followers she has on TikTok. I don't know. I don't follow her TikTok account here, but I would take it she has, at least tens of thousands of followers at the very least here, right? So she's probably getting hundreds of DMs here. And that's not. And it, with a lot of these folks, it's kind of like, hey, I'm just gonna throw stuff up against the wall and see what sticks. So they get all these DMs. Hopefully, one will, answer their DM here.
Listen, I get a lot of DMs. I get a lot of offers. I get a lot of things happening on social media. That's like me coming on social media and saying, listen, if you ain't willing to give up that throat, let me send you a throat list. Let me send you a throat list, okay? If your esophagus, if you ain't willing to give up that esophagus, there's no need in you even hitting me up. Like,
man,
women
they look at you like you're crazy.
Oh, well, someone will, and then but you'll have the ones that look like that chick you was talking about. That'll be like, okay, where you want the throat delivered to? Where you want the throat delivered to?
The cute women. I mean,
cute women.
To me, this is one of those things where the only women that complain about men finding them attractive or getting on there are attractive women. You know what I mean? Like because we see women spend billions of dollars to make men more attracted to them, and so it's kind of just it's weird to hear women complaining when they're beautiful or successful, because it's like, man, if you didn't get no attention, if men were not attracted to you naturally, your perspective would be drastically different on this whole scenario.
And this is the problem, right? In this video, she got on makeup, probably somebody else's hair, and
filters
to look better. So I wouldn't even call her, you know what I'm saying? I'll give her a 5 or 6 until I see her without all that stuff on. Like,
you know what? That's a valid point.
I'm done with calling women beautiful that come on this internet with somebody else's hair on, makeup, and use filters. What the heck am I calling you beautiful for? You out here acting like you fine. and got these here attitudes like this, that in 10 years, that attitude gonna be gone, because you're not gonna get the same amount of attention that you get when you 25, that you get at 35, or that 30 and 45, or whatever, the older you get. So it fades away over time if they ain't lock their man down, guaranteed.
And that's a perfect segue into our next topic. This next video is a woman kind of describing exactly what you're talking about. How she's talking about how she felt invisible once her attractiveness started to fade. Let's take a look.
Is there anyone else out there in their 40s like me who feels kind of invisible? Like, I'm not as cute as I was in my 20s and 30s. I'm definitely not as fit as I was in my 20s and 30s. I don't have as much hair as I used to have. It's literally falling off like the top of my head.
You do become a little more invisible the older you get as a woman, unfortunately. I don't get asked out on a lot of dates. I never get asked out on dates. I don't know if it's being 55 in Los Angeles or if it's just a strange town.
What is the biggest confidence killer for women over 50? Men over 50. They never look at you anymore.
When I was 55, I felt like I was starting to fade. I felt like I was starting to go invisible. I felt dismissed. I felt ignored. I felt like I was washed up.
When I was 15, I started modeling, and it was a very hard thing to walk away from. Then around the age of 45, I started noticing that the way I was perceived was slightly different than what I had become used to. And then I would put photos of myself in bikinis. All of a sudden, I started getting the influx of, "Are you a little desperate there, Grandma? How about you cover up and spare us the look of your poor aging body?" I was sort of getting relinquished to the invisible women category.
I've never heard women really describe the invisible category like that. But the phenomenon that your looks fade over time is something that we've known throughout history. One of the reasons that we talk so much about why it's important for women to look for husbands in serious relationships when they at their peak in their early 20s and in their mid 20s is because of what she just described. Because even those women now that are in their 30s and 40s, they can still get sexual attention. And so a lot of them are oblivious to what she's describing, that as far as serious relationships and men that seriously want to date you, that fades away drastically once you hit your 30s and 40s.
Facts.
Yeah, man. I remember Steph Curry's wife said something like this. Steph Curry's wife was like, "Yo, men don't say nothing to me anymore."
I remember.
That's why she posted those pictures. Remember? When she was
straps.
Like, yeah,
those
she
straps.
was like, man, she wanted attention. This is the thing. This is exactly what these here women are talking about. You know what it all boils down to? Attention.
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 Attention is currency.
The attention to women is like sex to men.
Correct.
When it comes for how much we crave it and we look for it. That's why I say that when a woman is searching for attention like that from other men, it's like a dude searching for sex. So if he's considered cheating, if he's searching for sex, then she would be considered cheating, searching for attention. But once that attention fades, because their beauty and their shape and all of that stuff fades, a lot of them don't know what to do. They go into desperation mode because the biological clock is definitely ticking away from them. Not only when it comes to their facial looks and their body, but also the internals of them. The baby aspect is 9 times out of 10 gone. And the men their age, the ones that a lot of them like naturally, are men that like younger, fit, prettier women.
More attractive women. Yeah.
The same thing that we try to tell them, like Terry alluded to a minute ago. When you have the most leverage in the dating world, is when you should be focusing most on getting the person to spend the rest of your life with. And for women, that's when you are younger and in your prettiest and your best shape, because that's what men are looking for. You just need to find a man that's in that trajectory, that's moving somewhere, because once you get older and now you still want the cream of the crop man, The cream of the crop man is looking for a cream of the crop woman. And no matter how you feel about yourself, you just ain't her in the eyes of most of those dudes. And they don't like that at all.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You know what? Because after 35, it really gets harder for me. Like SD, you can attest to this, right? I'm 30 now, I'll be 40 in September. I'm not looking for a 40-year-old. Like, I would prefer somebody 35 and under for me, right? And here's the thing with women, a lot of women fail to realize once you get 35 and up, that 25-year-old coming in the game is your competition. I'm gonna tell you what women's worst nightmare is. It's that, it's that college graduation, that song they play every year, every May here. The theme song, the late Macho Man Randy Savage. We all know that song. And women 35 and up, that's their worst nightmare right there.
Yeah, I mean, the social media can prolong it. We see older women, they gonna get a lot of other women in their comments complimenting them. You look great. They gonna get showered with compliments and all that if they go get their makeup done and they get they hair done and all those type of things. But in real life, y'all don't think that when they're attractive, I see y'all women all the time getting it.
Terry, here's the thing. I'll say this: I think people compliment them, right? I think what a lot, even for the men that compliment them, send them heart eye emojis. What the men are telling those women, they're eligible for sex.
No.
What you got, SD?
Social media prolongs it in your head. It's different than prolonging it in reality.
True.
Because this is how you know. When they get older, they also doing things. They going to get BBLs now older. They going to get lipo older. They doing all this makeup, getting this hair, all of these different things. Social media can only prolong it in your mind.
True.
The reality don't prolong it for most of them. Do you have women that's in shape that's older? Of course you have some that's in shape and still holding steady because they are pretty. But the majority of them, it is not prolonged at all just because they get comments and likes.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
Well, that's what I was. Well, I guess what I was trying to say is it prolongs them from not viewing this invisible state that she's describing. Because if they post a selfie and they told how fine they looking and all that, they stories and everything, like I said, the lames that's in their DMs, the likes on their pictures and the comments, they gonna think they lit still.
No, you know what, fellas? I think both these things can be true at the same time. Because you have a few women, especially this. I saw a couple in their 50s that have whole platforms of, "Hey, I still look good." There was one
being fine and stuff like that.
I mean, cute for a 50-something-year-old, still cute and everything. But I knew that's you saying it's not reality. What resonated with me was, when Dave Chappelle said, "Hey, Twitter is not a real place," and that applies to the rest of social media.
No, bro. Steph Curry's wife got millions of followers, millions of likes, millions of comments telling her how pretty she is. But in reality, I know, but in reality, people are like, men, because she's married probably too, but even in her mind, she's like, yo, the attention isn't there. The attention of guys trying to shoot their shot. Tia Mowry, same thing. She said, ain't nobody in my DMs trying to holler at me. Well, you should have stayed with your husband, because ain't nobody coming out here 9 times out of 10. Men ain't jumping at the fact to get with a single mom of 2 or 3 that's 45 years old, that's goofy, that act like that. Like most dudes ain't stepping out here for that. Like, it's a reality check. But she got millions of followers though that give her likes and all of that. So it's not real world. It just likes the mind.
But it's you know what, with Tia Mowry and Aisha Curry, it's just like when they post those thirst traps, both of theirs were like cringe just because it was just very like goofy and awkward. It was just like,
I don't think those two women in particular, they have more like of a wholesome family type of image. So they're not one of the highly desired women, I would say, even though they're really attractive. But I don't think they. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think those are like celebrities that guys, from those eras, like the Nia Longs and the Holly Berrys, where they come off on everybody's list per se.
The sex appeal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's really interesting to see that from women that have the fame and the celebrity and the money, because all the other women are claiming that those are the things that the men are lacking and why they're not attracted to these other men. But it's just really interesting to see how drastically the dating market, which is not influenced by what just one gender, it really dispels and shows you what really matters to men, and how so many women, despite the beauty and all the success, how they're struggling to find long-term companionship.
Yeah, Tia Mowry is for men is like Russell Wilson was for women before he got with Sierra.
Yeah, fair. That's
They
okay.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Like they was kind of the square type of viewed that type of way. So people wasn't really checking for him when Russell Wilson was single. None of these here chicks was checking for Russell Wilson. None of them were posting him for Man Crush Monday. Like they weren't. So
They
now
post a
Tia
feature for
Mowry,
Man Crush Monday.
of course they do. And now Tia Mowry, same thing. Like nobody's really checking for her like that, even though she's single. And so the difference is that for women, so much is dictated off of their looks and their shape. You know what I'm saying? So much of it because men are visual. But for men, it's not so much the case. The man is really a lot of it is dictated off of his money. So he can still get very pretty young women in their 30s when he's 50 something. Al Pacino 80 something, his baby mama 26. Bill Belichick 70 something and his girlfriend 24. Like you see,
Money changed the dynamic for sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
for men. But you don't see
Even
Gayle
though
King
they don't,
walking around
those
with a
women are not
25-year-old.
really attracted to those men. It's
But
for
I get
the
that.
benefits that come from it.
I get that, but Gayle King ain't got no 25-year-old that's a nice looking young man out here, strapping young man. Like
She's
you
in her
don't
70s.
Yeah, you don't see that like that. Will you have one every now and then? Of course you will. It'll be a dude that'll do the same
Boy
thing
toy.
the women doing. Yeah, well, he's smashing up back at like Madonna. I think her boyfriend was like 20
Yeah,
something.
Madonna,
Right? Or Cher. Maybe it
yeah.
was Cher, not Madonna, but Cher.
I think Madonna had a
What
younger
didn't
boyfriend as well.
Tracy Ellis just say something about her only dating younger guys now or something?
Yeah, it was on Michelle Obama's podcast.
Yeah, I mean you'll have that, but for men, it's just a little different. The younger dudes, I mean, I don't know, they get with them sometimes to smash them. I remember I was hitting a chick that was 50. I was 22. I was young, man. You know what I'm saying? But I only did it because she was buying me stuff. Like that's why
you got a sugar mom.
Yeah, she was buying me rims. Hey man, come on, man. I'm just saying, man. She bought me an alternator and a catalytic converter.
Yeah, she was really making some paper. She bought you a catalytic. Man, it's like two. Even aftermarket ones still cost you a good little brand and stuff.
My cousin was in the same situation. He was like 20 something. He was dating a chick in her 40s that got him a car, and she had a place where he could crash it. So sugar mamas definitely know how to use them financial benefits to get them young boys in line.
They throw the bait out there.
Right. All right, man. Looks like we up against the clock. We about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into tonight's topic, package deal, where we're talking about some of the challenges and expectations that come from dating single mothers. You are tuned into the Ho to Husband podcast. We'll be back in a moment. Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ho to Husband podcast. Tonight's episode is titled Package Deal. And in light of Mother's Day, we wanted to have a conversation about some of the challenges and the expectations that come from dating single mothers. We hear this phrase package deal all the time, where women kind of just encapsulate all the extra things that it takes to date a single mother. And I guess if you're a guy and you don't have kids, or if you don't have sisters and was around raising kids, I guess that could be overwhelming. The time restrictions, the amount of responsibilities that come with being a single mother, and the interrelationship dynamics of the baby daddy, the families, etc. So there could be a lot of different things that can influence the dating situation and either prevent or possibly enhance the chance of a serious relationship evolving. First thing I want to ask y'all, SD, when you hear the phrase package deal, what comes to mind for you?
Responsibility for a child that's not mine, which for me is fine. I personally prefer it. I prefer the package deal, but I prefer the package deal with a woman that has a respectful kid and a respectful relationship, or completely no relationship with the dad. So, because when you take on that deal as a man, like, it's kind of unforgiving. So everything that you do for your kids, kind of, you give your life for your kid. You kind of take that on too as a stepdad. When you step into that role, you like, yo, if something happens for this kid, there's no way you cannot risk your life to save this kid that's not yours and still have a relationship with the mom. So when they say package deal, understand what that means. It means the whole package, not just pieces that you want to give, but it's the whole package. So I think of responsibility when I hear that. Jay, what about you?
The same thing. Like for me, as far as when I hear package deal, like for me, I would prefer a woman without kids as opposed to a woman with kids. Now, I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I would look at what was the situation with baby's father, were they married? I would look at something like that. But when you get package deals, it's like I'm kind of 50-50 of trying to pursue something longer term with her or not, because that's a big. Because here's the thing: when you're dating a woman, the only thing you get is the woman. Like, you don't get her kids, you don't get her car, her job, house, whatever she has. You don't get that. All you're getting is her.
Yeah. I guess in my thought process, even though I've never dated single mothers, I've smashed some chicks that had kids, but that ain't the same thing.
This dude here, man.
I have.
What I'm saying is, I was never having the type of conversations to figure out whether or not you could be my girlfriend or not. You know what I mean? My conversation was mostly trying to figure out, is there a mutual sexual attraction, and how can we link up to make it happen? So it was never the discussions about, what your long-term goals are. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of the kind of questions or discussions that I have with serious dating candidates.
So you asking for panty colors right off the bat?
Nah, well, see, okay, I know, but to me, when I was younger and I was single, to me, if you got a kid, that means you actively fucking. So to me, that means it's a green light as far as what I'm looking to do. But my expectations are, I knew you had more responsibilities, and so me being a responsible person with my own crib, you got a place to be able to go to and be able to do all those type of things. So I would factor those type of things into the equation as far as what makes me desirable or a fit to be her sneaky link. You know what I mean?
I got a question for you now. I gotta put you on the spot. You ever smashed the chick with her kid in the house? Or got some head with her kid in the house? This dude is a menace to society.
I remember I smashed a chick with her kid in the same bed before.
Dude, man, I'm telling you, man.
Hey, man, teenage moms have to get it in. Like I said, I smashed a couple moms who, But it is what
we
it
gonna have to
is.
throw some holy water on this episode, man. This dude is crazy. I ain't never did that. That's wild.
Yeah.
But Jay, this is what I want to ask you, because you 40, you finna be 40, right?
Yep, in September.
Being 40 and still single, dating, I don't know if you would like to get married or whatever one day. Have you become more lenient to the fact of dating or marrying whatever a single mom because you've gotten older?
A tad bit, like I said, it all depends on what the situation was there. So I'd be willing to take it on a kind of more of a case by case kind of basis. But for me, it would be preferably somebody without kids. So that's why I would be like, okay, I would do 35 and under, because I understand like majority of the women in my age, let's say between 38 and 42, are going to have kids. Some of you probably have grown kids by this time.
Do you want kids?
Yeah, I want to get married and have kids and actually have a family.
Okay, I got you. So what's your age range? Like for a woman that you wouldn't have kids with, and the dating, like, what's your dating age range that you would like to do?
I would say between 28 and 35.
28, 35. So
Yep.
if you get with a woman that's 40, great woman, would you even get with her? You wouldn't get with a woman at 40 at all because she's kind of aged out of kids.
You finna have coming for Jay in the comments.
It would be, you know what? It would be tough.
They always coming for me.
You know what? If she's an age woman, I'd be willing to at least entertain it and say, okay, figure out what her fertility is and everything. If she checks all the boxes, you know what? So let's see what her fertility is like. So
the age that you want to date, being younger, is playing into your mind of having a child and a family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, 100%.
So when we're talking about dating women with children, I've had this conversation on my page a couple of times, and women kind of have this philosophy or this strategy where they shield their kid from the guy that they're dating for X amount of time or something until they feel the time is right, and then they introduce the man to the child. And to me, I guess I understand it. They don't want to be introducing a bunch of men to their kid, that they're just dating or whatnot. But to me, that makes the dating situation a lot more volatile if you wait a long period of time, because that your child is a major part of the equation and can completely derail a dating situation. So I think it'd be smarter to have a more subtle approach. Maybe, the recommendation that I would give is like invite go on a date to a barbecue or something to where kids can be around, where you could invite the woman and her child to be able to see how they interacted without it being a scenario where it's like, hey, you gonna meet mommy's boyfriend today type vibe.
Yeah.
I think that would make it more kind of natural to be able to see how a dude is in his environment and how he actually interacts with kids as a whole.
Yeah, I tell women that all the time when they ask me about it. Man, go to David Buster's. Take your kid to David Buster's and have dude just show up to David Buster's. And you're like, oh yeah, this is mommy's friend, and y'all just playing around and let him interact a little bit, get used to him, and then he going about his business. Don't tongue her down while you in there. Just go ahead, play around, like, yeah, seem cool, and go ahead about your business. Make it kind of informal where, y'all ain't sitting there and y'all going out on a date and they introducing them as boyfriend. But I do agree with moms that don't really introduce their kids to other people. My son will be 12 next week. He has met one woman. That's it. One woman.
That was
the one I was with. Yeah, Terry met her. Terry.
I remember
exactly. Terry met her years ago. That's the only woman he has ever met that I have dated. And it's for a reason. I don't want everybody that I really don't know how they live their life, how they operate out here, how they treat other people, how they treat me, right? I really don't know. I really don't want them, that woman around my son yet.
How long was it before you introduced her?
Yeah, that's good.
It was some months. It was about 4 or 5, maybe 6 months.
How did you go about it? Did y'all do like something like where all three of y'all can be involved here, or did you bring it to the house and say, "Hey, son, this is"?
Back then, I really can't remember because we talking 9.
Because he was younger then. I was gonna say, how old was he? Like 5 or 6?
4. He was 4.
Okay.
So I really can't remember, how I did it, but now I know how I would do it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I would do it a little different, But he's older.
The age of the kid obviously has a major factor
it's a little different.
because I can also see a scenario where your child could be reporting to they dad, mama's new boyfriend this, and you know what I'm saying? Like it could be, I guess the potential for drama and chaos is one of the things that discourages a lot of guys or bad experiences with baby daddies, fights, drama, all this type of things. Make people just kind of steer clear. I ain't involved with no baby dad because you never can really predict that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And it can go left real quick. Even if the person that you're dating is a reasonable person, we see exes, jealousy, murder, suicides, all those type of things. The new man is usually a casualty in those type of situations. So I can totally understand somebody if that's their stance based off something they experienced personally or seeing somebody that they know experience. I guess it ain't fair, but your ex or who you had your child with can derail your dating situations going forward. And it is just a reality of what you got to deal with.
That's why I don't go over women's houses. That's why I don't go over women's houses no more. I was at a chick's apartment. I was at a crib. Man, next thing I know, the bell going off. I'm like, what?
Who was at the door?
This dude yelling outside. It's a baby daddy. I'm like, what in the world, man? I went on, put my drawers back on. I'm like, man, let me get up out of here, man. I don't know what's happening. So it's apartment complex, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
one way in, one way out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, hey, you better talk to him before the fifth put the spark to him. You know what I'm saying? I was locked and loaded, but at the same time, I'm like, let me just walk out because he don't know which apartment I came from. You know what I'm saying? So when I walked out, he was like, appreciate it, fam. And he went on in. I'm like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
you talking about me being a menace.
But I didn't know. What I'm saying is that they weren't together. He was just crazy. I guess he was calling her phone and she didn't answer, so he showed up and figured she was in there with a dude, whatever the case. And I'm like, man, and I've had other situations with guys popping up, and I'm like, I ain't doing this no more, man. I'm not coming over to no chick crib because I get into a situation, me being a concealed carry holder, and now I use the weapon, and now I'm in trouble over something that I didn't even know what was going on.
I see where your rationale is because you just never know what can happen, right? What if a dude you don't know what's on that dude's mind, how he's wild. So you got off that situation lightly. You don't know if this dude get crazy as fuck.
Whereas men, we can kind of control that a little better. Yeah. I think because of the physical aspect of men. If a chick come over, like, you know what I'm saying, which I ain't. I don't get into that. Like my son's mom, we don't have that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that can get dramatic, broken windows, and
but for you, in a lot of cases, but for men, I think they can handle it a little better physically, whereas a woman can't. So
I agree with that. Another thing, I guess, when you're talking about dating moms, to me, I think what's really important or something that you should be doing, evaluating, even if she's not a mom, is her mother potential. So evaluating a woman's motherly skill, I think can be a major deal breaker.
How do you do that?
I guess to me, in my brain, I would need to see her like, I have to see your crib, man. I need to see how you live in order for me to seriously take you you know, say serious as somebody to date. So your disciplining your kids, how are you raising them? How respectful are they? Like all those type of things are things that are going on my mother grade card. The same way that I think a woman should be evaluating a man for his father potential. But you have, and to me, somebody that, you know, you had to go to a party so bad you just let some random person babysit your kid. You know what I'm saying? Or you always trying to push your kid off on someone else. Those are the type of things that would instantly make me consider somebody to not be a good mom. So I think that's real important.
Of course. So I was thinking you was talking about a woman without a child, evaluating her motherly.
Well, I think you got to do that too. You do have to do that, but you got to do it the same way you would evaluate a guy by seeing how they interact with kids in general. Like at the barbecue, when a 2-year-old walk up to them, do they play with them? Do they tickle them? Or like, comes and get the, you know what I'm saying? Like, to
get this little bastard away from me.
Yeah, like so. And to me, kids are really a great judge of character. Like kids come up to me all the time, and people used to always be like, "Man, kids love you," because I play with them, because I make them laugh. Like I engage with kids, even though I didn't have none. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I had little cousins, I've had siblings, so to me, that's always been a thing. You can tell how somebody interact with kids, even if it ain't they kid. You know, when I remember when my wife would bring around her family, you picking up some kid or the kids are playing with you, the family notices that. You know what I'm saying? Like those type of vibes are kind of universal to me.
Yeah, just don't come with me to Walmart, because I be tripping little bastards in Walmart. Trip them all the time. But no, seriously, when a woman has a kid, because I do prefer to date women with kids, it is imperative that I pay attention to how she parents. I remember a young lady that I was talking to in my young 20s or whatever. I really liked Shorty too. Real pretty. She was about an 8, 9 on the scale of fine, but she had 2 kids, right? And how they would act and how she would do everything for them bothered me. Even though they was like 9 and 10, these boys, she would clean up their room, they tear it up, she go clean it up. And I'm like, yo, you need to stop doing that for them. Stop doing everything. She got pissed off at me for telling her about how she should handle that differently. Man, she stopped talking to me behind that. So how you take criticism or some correction also as a parent when somebody sees something, not in a way where I'm downing you or something like that, but in a way where I'm trying to help as a man, and I see what's going on with this boy, and I'm like, man, well, you should make him clean up his own mess. I mean, he the one dropped the plate on the floor on his own. Like, you shouldn't clean that up for him. Make him do it. He big enough to do it. Like, how you take that type of stuff. If you like, yeah, you know, you're right. And, you know what I mean? Or you don't tell me what to do. How about, I'm gonna see y'all later. I'll catch y'all later. Like, I don't want to be bothered because I don't know everything as a dad. You know what I'm saying? Even though I've been a father for a long time, sometimes I'm a little too rough with my boy or whatever the case. Sometimes. And if a woman say, hey, you know, maybe you shouldn't, you know, be so rough with him like that. You know what I'm saying? I get you want to teach him. Yeah, I'm like, I could sit back and say, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, because I see how he responded. Like, everything ain't an attack on you like that. Some stuff is to make you better. And so if you could take that as a parent, as a woman, or as a man, ladies, y'all should implement this too. Then that person is somebody that you know that can hold themselves accountable and work together with you to parent this child in the best way possible.
You know, Essie, that's a great point that you're making. And even when you see those things, you know, you can't tell them nothing as a parent. You should not take that lightly or dismiss that, because let's just say
major red flag.
Yeah, let's just say you have aspirations of maybe possibly get married and having more children. You know, this might not be the person you want to have a child with, because you have a frame of reference right in front of
you.
I mean, that was a good call out. I hadn't even thought about the criticism aspect of it. But you're right, man. All those things are things that husband material men are paying attention to when it comes to a woman. We have these discussions all the time about single mothers. We know the statistics that usually results in a worse outcome for the child. So a woman that would respond negatively to a male, especially a reasonable, rational male that's coming to them with common, respectfully telling them about a way that they should handle something. To me, that's a sign of her immaturity as a parent. And you're right, that is definitely a deal breaker. So I don't have, like I said, I don't have the experience. I ain't never had to cut nobody off over it, but it would definitely be something that would be on my list. Like, that's wild.
Another thing I've cut a single mom off for is that she was outside too much for having a child for me. She was outside too much. Like club, the kid is with
what
the
I was
grandparents.
saying earlier. Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, she get them Sunday. And I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to the bar tonight. I'm doing this. And I'm like, yo, even though I don't want no more kids, I don't like the way that you handle your child. Because for me personally, I love, y'all don't even understand. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you do. Terry, you got a child, but you got a daughter. But for me, with my son, I love being with my boy. Like when he ain't with me, I'll be like, man, what am I gonna do? Oh, I have to go make something up to do. So you know what I'm saying? Because I like being with him like that. And if you don't feel that way with your child, where you constantly got him off somewhere, and it's different kind of for a mom because the mom has them the most, especially when you tell me the dad ain't in the life or something like that. Well, the dad ain't in the life, and you pawning them off to your parents 5 days out of 7 days every week, so you can go to the club, not so you can work. That's different.
Bad priorities.
Work to pay bills. Yeah, you got to work to pay bills. Whatever the case, I get that. But you going to the club to drink, you going to the bar to drink, sweetheart. No. You don't get nothing from me. I'm good on you. I don't want to be bothered with that because I wouldn't trust that type of woman like that to have my son's best interest in mind when she don't have her own child's best interest in mind.
All right, one last question before we get up out of here. So let's say you meet a single mom, y'all talking or whatnot. At what point do you become willing to accept some responsibility? For example, she's asking you to grab some diapers or something before she comes. How would y'all handle that scenario?
Grab some diapers. Listen, man. If I just like her, I ain't been talking to her that long, whatever the case, and you know what I mean. I like her. I like her look. I like her physically. You know, some of the things that we have talked about. She's been really reasonable, whatever the case. Really seemed like a really decent chick. Man, whatever, man. We talking about diapers. I'll send them to you. But wait, diapers? Hold on. Diapers is young. I thought about this. Like, wait a minute. Why are you wait, man? We talk about kids that do on themselves still. Bruh.
Well, I guess the question I was trying to ask is, and what I guess it could be, I need $40 for his football camp. But I'm just saying, like, at what point do you become willing to help her out with something she needs for her kid?
Right.
Yeah, financially helping with the kid.
It don't necessarily got to be diapers. Is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be her flag football registration.
Okay, cool.
Some cleats, something like that.
I got it. I don't know. I think I might feel some type of way about you asking me. But if I think that she's a really good chick and she like that, I wouldn't have a problem offering, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
And we just talking and she's like, yeah, I gotta go pay this $40 for, his camp. And the dad ain't around or something like that, right? The dad ain't around. And she like, hey, I gotta pay this $40 for his football, basketball camp, and I just sell it to her. Boom, there you go. Go ahead. Like, come on, man. It ain't gonna make or break me. I think she's a good chick so far. Like, I'm cool with that. But asking me if he got a dad around or something like that, that would probably rub me wrong. Like, what the heck you asking me?
That's
I
fair.
would definitely, I think that's fair enough as well. You know, or I would, you know, like you said, I would offer it. You know, if she's talking about, but mainly if I, you know, once we have the conversation, hey, we're exclusively dating, then I wouldn't
I
mind
don't
taking
believe
her.
in
Taking.
that.
Why you say that?
I
The
don't
the
believe in
conversation.
exclusively dating. That's another
I guess,
conversation, but I
yeah,
don't
let's say
believe in it.
we need to have a discussion about that then. That'll be a good topic for another
Yeah.
day. We up against the clock, y'all. We about to get up out of here. Again, I want to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. Before we go, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us nice with our background music. I want to remind y'all to continue supporting the podcast or our Cash App and our PayPal. JS Demon, I appreciate y'all linking up so we can get this episode knocked out. This has been another episode of the Ho the Husband podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.